Just going to check real quick, make sure we're good to go on Facebook.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Hey, everybody. This is Jonathan with Captain Experiences. I'm here with Captain Rodney of Oilfield Outkasts out of Freeport, Texas. How's it going, Captain Rodney?
Good. Thank you. Busy.
Yeah. That's great to hear. And we're definitely going to get into that and some of the trips that you guys have been running recently. But would love to just kick things off and with an intro. Go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, where you operate, that sort of thing.
So I'm Captain Rodney. Me and a buddy of mine created Oilfield Outkasts charters. I've been fishing out of Freeport since I was 6 years old. And I bought my first boat in 2010 and got laid off in 2016. We decided that we would start chartering, Scott and I would. And he had the captain's license, I had the boat. And we started fishing just in the first few months that we fished. We started on June 1st of 2016. And by the end of September, we had fished over 1,000 customers just on one boat.
Wow.
So now we have 6. We have 5 offshore boats and 1 bay boat. And we have just gradually grown. And we now fish about 5,000 people or so a year.
Wow.
And every one of them that fish with us, they're family. Once you fish with us, you're family. And from that point on, it's been a growing company that has been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of challenges along the way. Getting laid off from the oil field wasn't something that I ever expected would happen. And I really didn't know how to fund, how to take care of my family other than that, because I really thought I was going to retire in the oil field. So, So whenever that happened, we had to do something. We had to do something quick. So we started chartering, and it wasn't long before we moved down here, and we've been down here ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's just such an inspiring story, So, can you go more, into what role you had in the oil field, what your day to day looked like, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so I started out from the very bottom of the totem pole in the oil field. I started off in coiled tubing. And basically, I was the gas go-getter and the lunch go-getter from the start. And so I moved up to a coiled tubing operator, then to a supervisor, and then I went and ran tools for a company. And then I went back and I've done some sales for some of the oil field companies and stuff like that. But most of my time was spent doing international work with a company called NCS Multistage.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know them. Well, so, my background's oil and gas finance in Houston. And, I guess similar to you, never really imagined in my wildest dreams that I'd be making a profession out of fishing, but, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, it does. The work's no different. It's just as hard.
Exactly.
Our days are 16-hour days back to back, especially once summer gets here. And it's more like 20-hour days. And you wake up and you don't even feel like you've been asleep. So,
yeah, it's just so incredible the work that, all charters and guides do, because not only is, not only do you need those hard skills, I guess, to manage the assets, the boats, all of that. But you also need those soft skills after, 4 hours of sleep or whatever to get out there, put a smile on people's face, because for most people, that's probably the only time they're coming fishing with you. And, I know from people who have been out with you and, your general reputation that you guys do a great job of that. So that's just more power to you. That's amazing.
Thank you. I think a lot of times with my customers, they think that I'm smiling, but really it's just my back hurting.
Oh, man. Yeah. We'll edit that part out. Don't worry.
I'm just kidding. I love all my customers.
Oh, man. That's awesome. And, for anyone who's watching right now, feel free to drop comments in for Captain Rodney and, I'll ask away. So we're not trying to let anybody off easy with these interviews. So, but stepping back a second, would love to kind of hear about what it was like growing up fishing in Freeport. What your earliest memories are. Who introduced you to fishing? Was it your dad, your mom, that sort of stuff?
Whenever they started bringing me down here, whenever I was 6 years old, and we ran out of Galveston actually, and went out on the old Buccaneer, and honestly, I think that might have been the only time that I ever felt like I was seasick. I had eaten a couple of those pink snowball things, that you get, those little cakes.
Oh yeah.
and I think I threw them up, if I remember right. And then
turned into a real confessionary.
Yeah, right. Then we did a bunch of fishing down in Port Aransas and stuff like that, all up and down the coast as I grew up. My dad and my mom introduced me to it, and we did a lot of striper fishing up on Lake Texoma, and then I did some semi-pro bass fishing with a buddy of mine, who, if you get on our boats, you'll see a number 23 on our boats, and that was Brad's basketball number. He passed away. Our dream was to always do this, and he passed away several years ago, and I'll still take him with me. He's still watching.
Yeah, there you go. That's amazing. So what do you think is unique about fishing out of Freeport? What's special about it?
Well, I think it's a lot quieter in the area. It's definitely a fishing port compared to, Galveston has a lot of tourism and stuff like that. And if you like quiet, then quiet is the way to go. In a half a mile, you're out of the jetties and you're already offshore and headed out. Mm-hmm. And I think the fishing's just fantastic here. We got the Brazos River right down, from us, and I think that helps a lot. We've got some good state water fishing, and then if you can head out there and go out and catch with us whatever you want to go catch in the deep water, whether it be a blue marlin or tuna or anything really. It's the sky's kind of the limit here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you talk more about the specific trip options that you have, because you guys really are pretty versatile. You do all the half day, the full day, the inshore, the near shore, the offshore. Just touch on what people can expect.
So we do bay fishing trips, 4 hours. You're catching your redfish, your trout, flounder, some mangrove snapper run around a lot. You really never know, but and then we do our near shore stuff, which is our state water trips, which you can choose a 4-hour shark trip, bull red trip, or you can go to a 5-hour state water trip where the shark trips, we're talking bull reds and then sharks, and something else comes around, we might jump behind a shrimp boat and jump on some sharks there and try to get a really big one. Then our typical state water trip, our 5-hour trip, is like king mackerel, Spanish mackerel, ling, bull reds if we have time. Obviously sharks are always around, so a lot of times they're actually bycatch. And then we move on out and we do amberjack trips, blue water amberjack trips. Those start, we do 8 to 12 hours on those. And then red snapper trips, which amberjack season is going to open May 1st, I'm to understand. And then we're going to have red snapper will open June 1st and run through August 1st for us. And then on August 1st, amberjack season will more than likely reopen again. So there'll actually be one day there you can catch red snapper and amberjack on the same day.
Wow.
So, and then we should have amberjacks through possibly to Halloween if the quota's not met yet. But we move on out and we do overnight trips. We do 24-hour trips. We do. We're working with Jeff Naylor over at South Texas Salt Adventure. And we're working with him, and he's kind of teaching us some ropes. We're going to start doing swordfish trips too.
Wow.
Gold tile fish, groupers, barrelfish, things like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, one thing that stood out to me are the shark trips. Can you touch on those, because I think those are really, really exciting to a lot of people. Oh, and by the way, Jason Frost says that's a pretty nice red right there.
That's actually his fish right there that he got mounted.
Figured, yeah.
Yeah, Gray's Taxidermy mounted that for him. That thing has 195 spots on it.
Oh wow,
that's the most spots I've ever seen. That's a leopard.
Yeah. Like, can we see it?
Yeah. Let me see here if I can get it in the camera.
Yeah, that's perfect. Wow, 195 spots.
Yeah. I mean, if you look down here into the tail, you can see there's spots even in the tail.
Yeah, wow.
And he got it mounted on this driftwood to where you can take it. And if I can do it without breaking it, because I'll break it hard, you can see that it's got – I can't get good lighting. Everything's backwards. But, I mean, this thing is just loaded with spots. It's known as a leopard.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, really, really awesome taxidermy work there.
Yeah, Gray's does a good job. They, I think we sent 3 fish over there this past year.
Wow.
So, but yeah, so back to the shark trip question.
Right.
You know, those trips are really something else whenever they're shrimping inshore. Mm-hmm. Because those sharks will pile up behind those shrimp boats, and you can almost walk on top of the water walking across how many sharks there are behind those shrimp.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, and we went out to them last week, and we got out there, and the guys on the shrimp boat were nice enough that they dropped us a sack of fresh shrimp in the water for us to pick up, and we played around behind them, and we didn't have any luck that day, but a couple of days before that, we hung into some pretty good sharks behind the boats.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Let's see. So what would you say is your favorite trip out of the entire lineup if you had to choose?
So we offer a pretty neat deal. We do what's called a shared charter, where you can just pay. It's like an open boat, and we can take up to 6 customers. And whenever we do that, we put a bunch of people on the boat that really don't know each other.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is they become friends.
Of course.
And that's the best thing about it is people people getting to meet other people. You know, everybody has the same interest. They're all wanting to fish. Mm-hmm. So there's actually a Facebook page of Friends of Oilfield Outkasts, and I didn't have anything to do with starting it, but it's people that have been on shared trips together, and they kind of find each other through there. But we have people that book those shared charters, and they come back and they'll book a private charter with the person that they met on the shared charter. Yeah. You know, and it's a neat deal. I've got a couple of customers that do that every year now, and it's a lot of fun.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, we just had some some inbound interest in some open boat trips, so would love to talk with you more about that kind of stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, we're offering them right now. They're $155 a person for up to 6 people, and those trips are really a lot of fun. And if you don't know if you can do it offshore or not, that's the way to go, because for not spending a whole week's paycheck, or depending on if you're rich or not. But spending a bunch of money on getting a private boat, you can go out there and test the waters and then come back and you'll know real quick whether you're meant to be out there and how you like it. Most of the time, they fall in love with it.
Yeah, hopefully you're not throwing up those pink cakes or anything.
I'll tell you what, there's some burritos that you can get from the store right up the street from the bait camp there. Boy, they make good chum, and people eat a lot of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Can you describe your boats a little bit? What they're like, and the different options.
Right now we have a 24-foot Haney Cat. It's a 2013. It's got a brand new 250 Suzuki SS on it. It can run in 9 inches of water.
Nice.
That's our bay boat. We have 2 Pro Sport catamarans, and those are 26.6 as far as length. One has twin 150s on it. The other one has twin 225s. Revelry is one of those boats, and that's the original boat that we started on. That's my baby. She's my tub, my tank.
Awesome.
But and then we have a brand new 26-foot twin V, and it's a 2019, and we have a 31-foot twin V that's a 2019.
Wow.
And I have a little sport fisher. It's a Topaz. It's 30 foot. It's got a little tuna tower on it and everything. It's a great boat, has its own restroom in it. The only thing is it's a V-hull, so it rolls. Those catamarans are a real stable fishing platform, even in some of the roughest seas, and that's why we try to stick to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Moss has a bathroom in it, and the ladies really do appreciate it.
Yeah. No, that is nice for sure.
All of our boats have a little camp potty in them, but having an actual bathroom, some people that's what they want, and so we have that to offer.
Right. Yeah. No, it really does make a difference for some groups. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick one aspect, what would you say makes Oilfield Outkasts different?
There's many different aspects to that, to answer that question, actually. First of all, we're a God-based company. We follow Christ, and we feel that He guides us in everything that we do. The second thing is we're also a company of second chances. Some of my best employees here have, and I included, I'm not perfect. I've been down the road of being in trouble before. We all have, and we're all working to be better people in the long run through doing it. And I think it shows whenever you see how much that we just absolutely love our people.
Yeah,
we do, because we're grateful for that. And so the opportunities to get to do something like that on some of the ways that some of us were heading in our past life, I think that makes a huge difference. And so customer service is always number one. Safety, is right up there too. But customer service is something that I think if you ask most people if they fished with us, they'll tell you they feel like they fish with family.
Yeah.
And they're still family. I have a girl that started fishing with me whenever she was 3 years old. And Kelton was one of my absolute favorites, and I got to fish with her just a couple of weeks ago, and I feel so blessed to get to do that with her. She's 7 now. And every winter we go up and she'll show her little calf up there at the county fair. And me and my wife go up and we watch her show her calf, Wow. She's made me shirts. She got me a new coffee mug this year, She's like, I call her my co-captain, but she's a whole lot of fun.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
You want to hear something funny? I'm not the smallest guy that you've ever met, but she taught me how to floss on the back of the boat one day.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that hospitality and everything is really even showing up in the comments right now. Cheech Torres said he met a lot of great people on shared trips. Karen has some commentary about our chumming the water. She says she had 2 guys chumming the water last time. Here's Cheech again saying that it's the best charter he's ever been on and been a long time customer. Great group of guys. That's awesome stuff.
Cheech started fishing with us the first year that we started with me and Captain Scott.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, he's been here the whole long run. There's quite a few of them that have been too. And customer retention will tell you the truth about what a company's really about or not.
Yeah. Well, truth be told, for everyone watching, Captain Rodney was a little nervous to know that people could be chiming in with their comments, but seems like he had nothing to worry about now. I mean, here's Jason again saying, you were the most engaging charter he's ever been on. Not just a business, but they treat you like family. James Cooper says badass captains and equipment.
Some of those are my Oilfield brothers too. There you go. Jason and James are both Oilfield brothers of mine. So we've chewed some dirt.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome stuff. What's it like for you when you put somebody on, their first fish or a big fish? What's that moment like?
So every experience is different. Okay. So the kids, they always want to catch a shark. And I don't know how many young boys or girls that we've got them on their first shark, but one of the most memorable stories that I can never imagine is, I had a 70-something-year-old man on my boat and took him out fishing, and his grandson ended up actually working for me for a little while. But he caught a big bull red like that one behind me, and He sat in the back of the boat and started. He was hugging the fish, had slime all over him. He was hugging the fish. He was crying, and he said, "Rodney, I would have never thought that I would have caught a fish this big." It's not always about what kind of fish it is. It's about what it means to that customer, and they decide whether that fish is a trophy or not.
Yeah.
And sometimes whenever they decide that is the trophy that they've always looked for, that's, you got to stand back and say, you know what, how lucky am I to get to do this for a living? Seriously.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Just fishing isn't all we do. We do all of our own boat maintenance, and it's a lot of work. Yeah. And probably twice the work is what the fishing is, but it's worth it whenever you have times like that, and they happen every week. There's something different that happens every week, and something that touches you, and you say, you know what, I'm pretty blessed right now.
Yeah. That's an amazing story, because I hear from guides all the time, they share, obviously every story is completely different, but, this similar narrative that they say, well, what we might have considered as a captain or as a guide, as, a trash fish is making this person's day. And, there's really no such thing as a trash fish. Any any fish could be someone's trophy, just like you said. So that's
this past weekend, the trophy fish was a person's Jack Carrell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was. And, those fish fight hard. They pull hard. And we had all the bull reds that we wanted. But the thing about it was, and honestly, that was a father and his two kids. He had his son and his daughter with him. And our bull red bite was actually slow at first, and he caught that Jack Crevalle. And he was so proud of it. And it just so happens to turn out that we made a little move. One of our friends that also charters, he gave us a little input over the radio, and so we made a little move. So there was 3 of them, and about 20 minutes after we dropped the anchor, they tripled up. Wow. Both the dad, the daughter, and the son were all hooked up at the same time. Of course, me and Captain James, which me and James have been fishing together since we were 13 years old. And I'm pretty fortunate to have him and Captain Matt on my team. But, we're trying to keep lines from tangling up. And honestly, I thought that we were tangled up. And it turns out that actually each of them had their own fish.
Wow. That's cool. And, that story, once again, just goes to show, that being a good person and treating people with hospitality and treating people the right way, not only is it obviously, first and foremost the right thing to do, but 2, it's good business, because then you get guys on the radio saying, hey, Captain Rodney looks out for me. I'm going to look out for him and his customers. Hey, come get on this bite. That's really cool.
The honor is all ours. It really is. The honor is all. We're honored whenever, because you got to look at your customers and you have to decide what exactly does a customer mean to you. And whenever you look at that, you say, for me, what a customer is they're taking their hard-earned money, right? They're putting it in my pocket to go out and make a vacation of a lifetime, a trip of a lifetime, a memory that they're going to have for the rest of their life, whether it be with their buddies, their family, their kids, or whatever. And it's something that I think every guide owes it to take it serious. I'm not saying don't have fun on the trip. Obviously, be every bit of fun that you can be. But it's something that you got to find in your heart as to what that customer means to you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's something that we say at Captain Experiences all the time. It's book the fishing trip of a lifetime every time. So, that's all we're trying to do is help people accomplish that. Nancy Cole Douglas says, I'm his mom and I'm worried about the comments. That's awesome.
Don't worry, Mom.
And then Dylan Goss says, for sure, best charter and best equipment.
Well, you know why he said that?
What's that? He provided.
Dylan Goss is a senior in high school this year, and he builds our rods for us. They're called picklefish rods. He builds our rods. He builds all of our equipment for us, and he does a fantastic job. He was actually in the booth at the show.
No way.
Up in Houston with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that brings up a good point, though. So let's plug Dylan and everybody else. What kind of equipment can people expect to use on your trips?
So we're sponsored by Daiwa, and So most of our reels are all Daiwas. We do have picklefish rods, and we have a few Daiwa rods. We also use Shimano and Penn for our bigger, deeper stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We are sponsored by Rapala, so a lot of times whenever we're out there and we're trolling for kingfish or wahoo or something like that, you can expect to see a couple of divers back there that's made by one of them. And you know, the other than that, really, it's one of those things to where whenever I'm looking for what equipment to use, it's not so much to me. It's a lot of time and effort to go out and try to get sponsors and things like that. It really is. And as much as I would like to do it, you know, I've got a set of Hondas on my boat. One of them just blew up last week, finally. And whenever I say finally, those engines had 9,000 hours on them.
Wow.
You know, that's over 1 million road miles. And that has to do with Captain James and Captain Matt helping me out with boat maintenance. You know, it's all about the maintenance. We want to make sure everybody gets back safe. But those Hondas lasted forever.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good on you and the team and on Honda.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you say you do it day in and day out? What gets you up in the morning?
It's the every day is never the same.
Yeah.
Every day is never the same, and it goes back to the stories of whenever you see a grandkid telling his grandpa how he caught the shark and how he should be trying to catch the shark because now he's the pro, and you know, that's a true story. Yeah. You know, you see things like that, and that's what makes you get up and do it, because honestly, it's something that I have loved doing since I was a young kid,
mm-hmm.
and I want to share that love with everybody else too. And anytime that you can get people away from, you know, out into the water where they can see things, you know, we see dolphins every day. We see a lot of sea turtles. You know, whenever you can get people out that have never been out there and they can see what is really there,
right.
then I think it changes a lot of things in their outlook and the way they look at things in general in life, because truthfully, that's the most wildlife that there is out there.
Yeah.
The customer experience is all about what gets me up every morning.
That's awesome. That's amazing. How do you feel about you know, the future of fishing, both locally in Freeport and generally in the world, in the oceans beyond?
I honestly think that the people who manage our fisheries do the best with the information that they have. And I really believe that fishing's getting better and better, to be honest with you. You know, I know that we still have some sharks that are in trouble out there, but most of our sharks are just fine and dandy, and there's plenty of them out there. And, you know, whenever you catch a 600-pound tiger shark and you can see the beach there in Freeport, you kind of worry about who's up there swimming. And if they knew what we were catching, they probably wouldn't be in the water.
Yeah, that's just a little appetizer for him.
Yeah. And we've caught them real close to the beach too.
Wow.
And so you think that there's not any, from what you see in the media, you see that there's no fish out there left at all. And that's not the case, because we catch hammerheads and we catch tiger sharks. We just caught a big sandbar shark just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't even bring those out of the water. You have to release them at the side of the boat. But I think it's been a long time since that they've caught bluefin tuna, which you see on the Wicked Tuna Show. There's been a lot of them caught out in the waters out of Texas this year, and that's pretty insane, really.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, I snuck offshore to the Nansen oil rig with Captain Lee out at Galveston, and I mean, I personally had never seen anything like it. I mean, I've seen, you know, striped bass, you know, on the East Coast, you know, busting at the surface, but we got out there and, you know, kind of like what you said with the sharks behind the shrimp boat, you could have walked across the tuna out there if they weren't moving like crazy. But it was just it was like, you know, a Planet Earth scene, or, you know, one of those amazing National Geographic shows, just, you know, so much natural activity. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I mean the future's bright. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that. Did you stay? Did you overnight out there?
Yeah, we overnighted.
Oh man, those stars and stuff. You get away from those platforms.
Incredible.
And, man, it's incredible out there at night. Yeah. I really like it out there at night.
Yeah. Well, so this is a perfect segue into our favorite question to ask. If you had one more cast to throw in your life, what would you be throwing and where would you be?
Oh boy, that is a sticky one, isn't it? Man, I think that my newfound love in sword fishing would have to be the one thing that I would want. I really am liking the way that fishing works, and I think that would probably be it. And I would hope that my crew would be with me too. All of them. That would be the best case scenario to have James and Matt and JoJo and Marshall and the whole crew out there with me and to get to experience that with me. It would be because, for me, it's not just about the experience of me catching anything. It's about us getting to, even with the customers, it's about getting to enjoy it with them.
Yeah.
The memories with them. And, I've caught a lot of fish in my life, but nothing's more fun than watching my customers catch fish. There's nothing like that in the world.
Yeah.
That's the payoff. Whenever I was a little kid, I grew up on a lake up by Fort Worth, and I had a little bass boat that my parents bought me. I started off with a little Lone Star 1942 John boat, and I ran it in the ground fishing. And they bought me a little bass boat, and my dad had some friends that were sick, and I took them fishing for one last fishing trip and took them. And, I was just a little kid, but I took them fishing because I knew how to find sand bass on the lake. So we went and caught a whole bunch of sand bass. That was probably my first guided trip that I ever had and just didn't even know where it was going to head.
Right. Wow. How special it was, really. Yeah. That's amazing. Awesome. Well, so now we can jump into the rapid fire questions. And so, once again, everybody who's watching, feel free to, comment with some questions that I can lob over to Captain Rodney after these rapid fires. But so with these, just kind of answer, whatever comes to mind first. So here we go. What's your favorite body of water to fish?
Gulf of Mexico.
Perfect. If you had to be doing something different, what would it be?
Oh, well, I can't go back to the oil field because oil prices are terrible. All of my brothers and sisters out there are hurting. I can't go back to the oil field. Nobody will have me. Nobody's hiring. So,
stuck being a fishing guide. What a bummer.
Yeah, I know, right? I'd probably hand out buggies at Walmart, honestly, just to where I could still interact with people.
There you go. Good stuff. Do you have a nickname, and if so, how'd you get it?
Which one?
What do you got for us?
So my high school nickname is Mad Dog. Captain Matt gave me a nickname because we had a bunch of oil field people on the boat. So if he calls me on the radio, he calls for flowback. Yeah. I bet you know where that comes from. So
yeah.
We don't know any details, but he thinks that's pretty smart, and that's okay with me.
That's a good one. That's creative. Good on them. Do you have a favorite song or band right now?
Yeah, The Movement. It's a reggae group, and I love The Movement.
Nice. That's awesome. Yep. Favorite movie?
I just watched Jaws again the other day. I always get a kick out of it. I always like watching Jaws. My love for shark fishing has actually what got me started.
Nice.
But my favorite movie is probably Tombstone.
Oh, no way. Yeah, that's Captain Dean McElroy's favorite too.
Yep.
That's
yeah, I got to go watch that on my birthday. They started that show hit the theaters on Christmas Day. My birthday's Christmas Day, and so my parents took me whenever it came out to go watch it. It's always been my favorite.
Nice. That's awesome. Do you have a favorite food?
Favorite food? Yes, I do. I really like the Loco Moco over at Polypop here in Lake Jackson. So,
Nice.
but crawfish is my number one all the way. You bring me a sack of crawfish, you won't leave with that sack of crawfish because
yeah, I'm with you on that. My God. I mean, you can, because as soon as you eat them, then you get full again, and you can just constantly eat them all day long. Or sorry, you get hungry again. Favorite drink of choice?
Oh, I love iced tea.
Nice.
Iced tea or one of those Bang energy drinks.
Nice.
Every now and then you'll catch me with a Monster in my hand, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, crawfish and some sweet tea or iced tea sounds like a nice afternoon to me. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
If I could have one superpower, oh boy, it'd be really handy to be able to see through the water.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I can, but I think I'd like to fly.
Oh, wow, that's a good one too.
Yeah,
very nice. What was your last Halloween costume?
My last Halloween costume, I dressed up as a girl. One of my best friends didn't even know who it was.
That's awesome. When was that? Was that?
Oh, it's been a long time.
Okay.
A long time.
Oh man, that's awesome. What do you want for Christmas and for your birthday, I guess?
Yeah. Man, that's a crazy question. You're really winging those out there, John.
Yeah.
What do I want for Christmas? I've wanted to fish on my birthday for quite a few years, and I haven't got to do it. If I got to fish on Christmas Day, I would really enjoy that.
Wow. Yeah, that's an awesome one. I think a lot of us agree with that. We all want that for Christmas. So fingers crossed. Jason Frost here says a good nickname for you is Sonar.
Yeah. Okay, Jason. You want me to have that superpower, I think.
Yeah, exactly. The water. That's awesome. Let's see here. Can you name one of the 7 dwarfs?
Yes. Sleepy.
There you go. How many pull-ups can you do in a row?
0. Actually, I used to be a gym rat, a hardcore gym rat, but I never figured out how to engage my lats to be able to pull up. Now I can do bicep pull-ups, but I couldn't ever get the side to side, where you pull yourself up using your lats. I can do some. I'd probably do 3 or 4 bicep pull-ups. But that's probably it.
So the 0 on the shirt is really just because you can't do any pull-ups.
That's O2.
Oh man, I'm just
O squared. Oilfield Outkasts.
Couldn't resist. Let's see. What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
I caught a really big bull shark one time, and it was a joke that Captain Matt played on me. And he said, "You need to get up there on the front of the boat and fight it from the front of the boat." And there's a video somewhere of me fighting that out there on that deal. But that was a big bull shark. She really put the whoop on me pretty good.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Well, yeah, I mean that's really about it. Just kind of wrap things up. Would you like to give a shout out to the troops, armed forces, veterans?
Yeah, to my crew, Captain Matt, Captain James, JoJo, Marshall. Thank you so much for what you do, and our supporters, Scott and Scotty and Carla Jordan, Billy Martin, Matt Timmerman. Thank you so much for what you do. During the summer, our house turns into basically a sleeping quarters for people that are helping us out. So just a shout out to Dylan and Maggie and all them that are always camped out with us when they're here. We feel pretty lucky whenever we have a full house because there's always some kind of fun to be had. And just everybody out there that helps us get it done and those that support us and thank you to all of my oilfield brothers and sisters. Y'all hang in there. I love you. I'm praying for you. I know times are tough. It'll turn back around. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, times are definitely crazy, but I think that just goes to show the importance of these experiences that you're providing people. So it's really important stuff that kind of serves as a light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, for a lot of people to say, hey, hopefully we can go fishing next year, but if not, we're going to get through this and we'll be out there, celebrating life, next year or something like that. So.
Yeah, it's every year's a little bit different, and we've jumped some hurdles this year already. But thanks to those that I named that support us, Scott and Billy and Matt and them, they really help us make things happen in times whenever it's really lean. And I can't say enough about what they do for us. And then you turn around and like last year we had one of my original boat got struck by lightning.
Oh wow!
It was at the dock. Nobody was on the boat, but it got struck by lightning, and we fought all year. We lost that boat the entire summer, and we and Pesca Moss too. We've been working on her for 3 years. Come to find out, after 3 years, it was $100 fix is the only thing that's kept her out of the mix. And
wow,
and we just had a hard time finding it. But we learned a lot along the way. We learned a lot along the way. I don't think there's much that me and Captain James can't do as far as working on any engine on any boat.
Yeah.
And, so for all the guys that help us do what we do and allow us to do what we love, that's the best thing that anybody can do. And I hope to see everybody on the boat. You too.
I hope to make it out there too. Just want to say as we wrap up, thanks to the doctors and first responders and nurses and everyone right now with coronavirus, helping people to get healthy. And, obviously the armed forces, veterans, thank you all for your service. Really appreciate you. And that's what allows us all to do what we love, including fishing and, providing these great experiences for people. So thanks a lot, Captain Rodney. Really appreciate it. It's really amazing. And I don't know, just rewarding to speak with you about all these awesome trips and all these different fish, and more importantly, all the different people. So really cool stuff. Thanks a lot for it.
Well, thank you for taking your time out of your day to have us on. I think the whole team is pretty excited. I see even my kids are watching too, my sons, and it's good to see everybody jumping on here and taking a look at what we're doing. I think everybody that is out there that I get to hang out with on the boat for just a little bit, and they get to come into my world. But, I feel like I really get to come into their world for a minute and show them a few things that I may know a lot about, or some of them might say I don't know nothing.
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully we can do this again soon. It was an absolute blast. So, really appreciate it. And yeah, hope you and your family enjoy your evening and, stay safe and healthy.
Same to you, Jonathan. And we should have kingfish in here pretty quick too. So fishing's going to really start cranking up quickly. Awesome. And it's been such a weird year that I think fishing's just going to be on fire this year. So hopefully everybody can come out and give you a shout and book through Captain Experiences and come see us and we'll go fishing.
Awesome. Sounds good, Captain Rodney. Yeah. Hopefully we can make it happen soon.
Jonathan, thank you so much. And you have a good evening.
Thanks, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.